The inventory search items function we have is packed with a lot of flexibility. Everything which has been colored like this beige looking color is a filter, and it filters the data you have in here in the subforms. We have put in already 1498 data just to show a little bit what you can do with it. This has been used for the textile industry, so you may see some textile related information, and then I hope you can relate to it for your own particular application. But here it is. If you're setting up the program, you will have to decide, okay, we have a couple of categories and I want to be able to filter in these categories. So you start with the main category, which is the very, very basics. And you'll say, okay, let's say in the textile industry, we just decided let's call it textile. And the next is we segregate between machinery, fabrics, fibers, and so on and so forth. The below mentioned database is focused on machinery, so that's why I picked here machinery. And then you have something like weaving, you have maybe wovens, non-wovens in general, so you can put in weaving. You can also type it in like this and then tap to the next. And then there are brand names. People who have acquired the program with the textile settings will have already thousands of entries in there, in brand names, in processing, and so on and so forth. I'm just doing something which I'm very familiar with. I'm putting denier in there, and we know that the weaving has different shedding motions. Some is jacquard, some is derby. I'm just putting jacquard in for now. This program in the subform will filter after each single category here. So it is like an AND filter. It has to look for everything textile, plus it has to look for machinery, plus for weaving, plus for the brand name denier, plus for the shedding, jacquard. So by clicking down here, it filters out of 1400 right now nothing. That's good. That's interesting. We need to find out why. And by looking at it, I had put it in too many categories right now. It also tried to filter after the main category here, which was empty basically, and after the subcategory here, which was also empty. That's why I didn't find anything. It's good to leave these mistakes in there because everybody makes mistakes and you may make similar mistakes. So it's also a good illustration of the AND filter I had. Okay, so it filters after this, it filters after this, and so on and so forth. And you can add more and more to it. Let's say we want to move this over here a little bit and see what we could filter after. Let's say I want to find everything which says 4 times denier. I can use this field here and put in just somewhere in that field a string. Let's say this 4, skip a space, an X and a D should give me everything which gives this string in this field description. And I'll do that. There you go. 4, skip a space, X, skip a space, D. So we can increase filter options by using these fields down below here. So this says it has to contain whatever I put in here. It has also to contain anything which I put in here, before and after. So let's say I want to do HTV, then everything which says HTV, it may be an 8, but it may be also other numbers. An S may pop up. So a little illustration on those filters, and there you go. An HTVS, an HTV8. You have to learn these filters. I can also, and very powerful is this, a star means anything in between, and then let's say give it a number 8. So now anything in between the V is and the 8 is allowed. But it has to also have an H and a T and a V. In this case we have 12 data. Let's say I were to do, here is a good example, a J. Let's put another J in there. Let's see what it does. And now it reduced it. So it does not only mean, the star does not only mean it has to have a digit in between, but it means it can be or it cannot be a digit in between. If I were to put here a question mark, then it means it has to have a digit in between, which possibly is nothing. Oh, there's one. Double click on here and let me see. There you go. It had a little forward slash in there. And now you have learned another option you have with this program. If you want to see a little bit more details, everywhere where you see a field with this little hook, that means that there's a pop-up in there. I can do the same here. There is a hook here. You need to know that if I click on this one, this shortcut means everybody who was ever interested in 697 reference number. Since I just started the program, I didn't put any customers who had interest in this, so nothing will pop up here. But what I could do is I could go and put in sales a customer who may have an interest in 697 and it will pop up. Let me do this. I'll go out of this program real quick. I'll set up some customers and then I'll be right back. Actually, I may want to do this as we speak. Why not? I'm going to import a few customers really quick. And in other tutorials I explain that how you do this. You probably have put some in there manually. I just am a little bit lazy. I know that I have 4 customers in there. I'm putting them in here. In my admin button I can update the customers by clicking this button. The customer or the sales tab will open up again. And I'll see 4 records here if everything worked out fine. 1, come on. 2 of 4. So I have 4 records. We want to remember the name 697. Let's tell this customer he was interested in 697. I will get to this form later again, so I'm making this quick here. But if you entered under this tab, then it should appear. And let me do a second customer, or first maybe only just one customer, and see if that customer appears. And there it is, test customer 2. But now I may have also another customer who is interested in this. Let's say my third customer was interested in 697. I put in 697. I need to book it, so I'm clicking here. Now it's been saved and booked. If I now double click in here, 2 will pop up. There you go. And if they had showed some interest for this particular item and asked questions, look at this hook, another shortcut. Right now nobody's asked anything about it, so nothing will pop up. But let's say this customer is interested in more information about 697. I'm clicking 697 and he says, please send pictures. Then if I book it, this is my booking, and I go back here, double click, do it the old way. All my customers who ever have been interested showing up, double click in here, and all the customers would line up who had some questions. This one asked for please send pictures. So you can go 2 times in depth with this one. Another very interesting thing is, let's say customers or vendors are interested in sending us something, and I have an email, and one of the vendors says their name is vendor 1 or 2 at test vendor, and they send me an email, and in that email it says I have something for weaving, I have something for denier. I'm going to be very lazy right now, or I can do something else. Let me leave weaving and let me put in tags. And it's also a jacquard machine. Let's see what happens. Currently we have weaving, denier, and jacquard popping up here automatically. The information pulls this information I pre-enter here already as default information in here. So by clicking here, it will refresh all the default information. The vendor contact email will be automatically put in here. It's not been booked yet. It has not provided a new reference number by the system, but it also puts weaving in here. It also puts Vanatics in here and jacquard. At the same time, if he had already sent me the same information, probably some line items will pop up. But since this is my first time I get something from this customer for this Vamatex, nothing pops up. Great thing, because now I don't have to enter this data anymore. It's already in there. If I decide to pre-enter this also, and I want to put this under textile, and if I want to put this under machinery, and I refresh this, there they pop up. He may also have a reference number like Jason 15, or I don't know what reference number may be good. It'll pop up there. So you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to do this anymore. It's already pre-entered. Really great. It's already been very intuitive here. Now you copy and paste your information from the web page or from wherever you found it, from the email, and I paste it here with my right mouse click. Now it doesn't highlight, but because I hadn't copied anything before, but you paste it in here and fill in the further information as much as you need to. Notice also that it'll provide automatically the last update, which is today's date, and it will give you also an initial posted date. So later on, when my customer says I have a revision to this product and I'm going to find this product back in here in the system, then I can overwrite the last update, which keeps my information always fresh, because this information here will be linked to this information here, and this information says I'm going to show everything in the subform, which is 3,650 days back from this date. I can change this date and I can change this number. If I were to put 10 days, and it goes only 10 days back from this date, or I can go back here a month and then do 10 days, and it goes 1 month, so minus 1 month, and then another 10 days from there back, and it will show you that information. That's very great because of another tool we have, and I will show you that in a second. Now, for now, I'm going to go out here and I just clear this. This is maybe easier. And I want to show you something else, which is very intriguing. We already learned that by double clicking on this hook here in the description, I can manually override all this information. I can change this over. I can do whatever I need to here. See this? This is a disclaimer. I have pre-entered a disclaimer in my system. Now, this disclaimer comes from the preferences. I will get back to the preference in a second. You can overwrite this. We left it in there. We thought maybe you may like it, but to see this and read this. So this is an automatic disclaimer. Every time when you enter new data, automatically this disclaimer came. So where does this disclaimer come from? From the preferences. And I will go to the preferences real quick. Preferences. Here's my preferences. I can put the disclaimers in here. And here. And you may have to work through the system and try out where these disclaimers pop up. Some in sales information and some in purchasing information. This is purchasing. This whole column is for sales information, and it will pop up here. In other tutorials, I'll go into this preference thing as well and explain a little bit more. But these preferences here are pertaining to our field we just came from. So I can rename my labels, main category, subcategory, and so on and so forth, and I call it, let's say, new sub 2, or just call it textile for the next category and call it maybe just machinery as a label. Maybe not a very good label, but I'm just for illustration purposes leave it in there. I'll save this and it should pop up in our label. I need to refresh this by clicking clear, and we should see some differences in these labels now, what I've put in there. New, okay, I mistyped it. Sub 2, textile machinery. See, there it pops up. So I can change these labels. I can also change the pre-filtering. This is a pre-filtered. I can change that too. Back in the preferences, and I can change, let's say, let's do a pre-filter In main category, I only want to see, let's go a little bit lower. That's better, I know that, but it was, I've typed in, and let's put in here jackards. Let's see if it takes that. I hope I chose the right category. But now, by clearing this, a pre-filter comes in and says, jacquard. I happened to put it in the wrong one. Here are the brand names. I should have put it in sub 4. Let's change it real quick. Take it out, put it in here, jacquard. Not for everybody it may be so important, but if you're specialized in something, that's probably what you want to do. And what it will do is you make all these changes here, and it will leave this in all the times, and will pre-filter after jacquard. You gotta have the spelling correct though. Another interesting thing is by double clicking on, for example, in this case jacquard, it will show me all jacquard customers who were ever interested in our products throughout the history of our plant. Right now we happen to have 2 customers, different ones, interested in this, since we just made those 2 entries. If I chose something else, it will not pop up because it will not, we didn't make any entries yet. The great tool and great need for this one is, let's say I have a new jacquard product I want to sell, and I know I have hundreds of people interested in this in the past. I don't want to go and search for a long time to send them this information. So all I'm going to do now is I'll put in jacquard, and it will filter me all the jacquard information I've put in over the last 3,650 days, which I can change. If I were to put in last 20 days, I don't know if anything will pop up, because I don't know if, yeah, there will still some pop up, because 20 days from today's date, there you go, all these are still allowed. I have, let's say, in the last 20 days entered 20 entries, and I want to send them to all my jacquard friends. Double click here, copy and paste this in your email system. Go out here, copy and paste this block, whatever you want from this block. Sorry, oops, no, I was a little bit too fast. Let me go back. I hope I didn't move anything over now. Okay, I can highlight all this area and then right mouse click, or just a portion of it, maybe only 2 columns. Right mouse click, copy, and then I can put it in my email system. Another way of doing this is, I have 20 selected items. Let's go to the report and send all these 20 pre-selected items. Look how this report looks like. Sales items. It puts in if I had pictures and where I have put pictures in, and people can download it. So if they get this as a PDF file, it's been already recognized as a URL address. If they get the PDF file, they click on that, automatically they can download the pictures. And look at this, sales items. I don't like sales items. I'll change it in my preferences. I go here, all the way to the right side, reports, call it not sales items, but let's say inventory items. Save this. Okay. Update. It should have also updated the report, and it should show now inventory items. There it is, inventory items right there. Awesome. And here, this link, we can change it over. Your IT expert should assign maybe on your web page a link where you copy all your pictures in a zip file. Zip files can be downloaded. And then you're going to change the path, put the path in here. Exactly how to find the information. Let's say under pictures / if you do that, pictures / the rest should be done by this computer. It will add in there the name of your pictures zip file. And what is the name of the picture zip file? You should call it the way as the name as your reference number. It will never repeat anyways, because the system will provide a new automatic reference number. So this is very cool. So if I don't want to look at the report first, and I'm already very familiar with that, I'll just hit send. and it'll put that report, that very report, in my email system. It'll take a second because it goes to my default email program and needs to open that up first. If I had it pre-opened, it would have been probably easier and faster. It's still working on it, isn't it? And there it is. Copy and paste your emails in there. Look at it one more time. With our change title, PDF. Obviously you need to have a PDF program installed on your system. I'm moving this back in the screen where you can see it. I took it. People can click on it. There, see how to change the cursor, and it gives you the URL address. That's where it would go to the internet. Right now, if I were to click this, there is nothing there. I didn't put anything there. I didn't upload anything there, but it puts it automatically in there. So this is highly customizable for exactly your application. See how nicely sorted? Jacquard, weaving, denier, then pignones, and so on and so forth. Customers can copy and paste from the system and send you the information back and ask questions about it. You can change the subject, you can put some text in there. Another way of exporting the information could be by clicking this export button. And what will it do? Now, it'll take my information from this subform which I have pre-filtered and puts it in an Excel sheet. If you read this, this is just a little reminder that you should double check it before sending it out to your friends. But it will take this subform. It will change over this email address to my own email address, because these were my vendors. These were people who sent me originally via email these offers. Now, if I send it to somebody else, obviously I don't want to volunteer this information. I want them to have my information, my email. So it takes this out, changes it over to mine. It also takes my reference number and puts that into the new vendor reference number. So when they get that Excel sheet, my reference numbers will appear as their new reference numbers. Vendor numbers. And instead of this, my email will appear. Where does it come from? It'll come from this admin main form, my company form. Right now, it will not expect anything because I didn't put an email in here. I should have done that, but I was kind of excited to show you this. But this email you punch in here will disappear. Right now, you should see in the Excel sheet nothing. It should be an empty space. You can choose the format, but now if you exchange this information with somebody else who owns the same program, leave it right now in here, export. Now you have the choice where. I have prepared a tutorial folder somewhere, and that's where I'm going to export it into. And since I had it done before, I see already, oh, there is one. I'll just overwrite this. And yes, I will overwrite. I accept that. And now it is in my path, in my Excel sheet, ready to export as well. I'm going to open this up and show you. Okay, there it is. Now, if I've done it right, then there should be no email in the email box because I simply didn't have anything. And yeah, it eliminated it. And also, see, 20 values plus 1. So that's why it shows 21. And it also took my reference numbers and exported them and made that the new vendor reference number. There it is, all the information. Very important is this, that if the other person tries to import this, don't touch any contents of the inside here, because you will probably recognize any errors or some errors. So don't do it. Take that as it comes and then import it into your system and add it to it. Don't touch it. You will have problems. I will X out here I will X out here, come back here. And you notice the reference numbers had these numbers. You probably recognize them. There was one very interesting thing I wanted to show you. So this subform, this form, inventory and search items, which also can certainly be used for other items, doesn't have to be always machinery. If you are in the home business, then you may have your other items, service items. You can be very creative about this and make use of it. It's a tremendous filter tool. You have great options. Another thing also, if you come across a category, okay, in the beginning you will come across many categories you don't have yet. What will happen? How do you build up this list? Let's say I want to create a new category. I'm calling it now new category. I'm just not too creative. My system will say, oh, you don't have it in that list. Do you want to add it? And I will add it now. I like to add it. So I'm going to add now my new category. I will save this by clicking the X. And now I can choose from it my new category, and there it is. So I can add categories across the board, and then later on these categories will automatically appear in the main filter header. Main category. Let's see if it's already in there. My new category, there it shows. So now I already can filter after this if I needed to. So I'll automatically update it. If you're working with tens of thousands of items, it will be very important to learn how to filter. And I will make a separate tutorial about that. For now, the functionality I believe is clear, and it requires a little bit of playing and training to see how the effect will be. My recommendation, start off with 4, 5, 6 line items, which you can remember well, and play around and see what the effects are, and then build on it. This is going to be the heart and soul for sales. If you do work with a lot of items and you have to deal with them and juggle with them, and if you're really good at it, you will be able to find items over the phone when people call you within seconds out of tens of thousands of items. And that made me always very happy. So good luck with this, and I will hopefully see you in other tutorials. Thank you.